Yo, AJ.
Meow.
That is the correct response. Yeah, you a Radiohead fan?
No.
No.
Nope.
And
Sorry.
that's the end of the show, boys and girls. In fact, that's the
Time
end,
to start the show.
the end of GAMESCAST as you
Let's
know
move
it.
on. I already have enough enemies with my opinions. I don't need any more.
Wow.
Yep.
I feel to balance this out, we need to talk about No Man's Sky tonight, just so everyone can hate both of us equally. Holy shit. Jeppy Condal with a $5 tip says, I wish the Radiohead Kid A Amnesiac experience was also in VR. This made me remember that I've never downloaded this experience. It's like free on the PlayStation 5, so I just downloaded it now. I can't wait to check it out after. Anything Radiohead would be killer in VR. Got to be better than those fucking Synth Riders experiences.
All I said was I didn't listen to him. I didn't,
That wasn't the question. That wasn't the question. The question was, do you like them?
Oh,
Yeah.
sure. I love them, but I don't know anything about their music.
I'm so done with you. Can we just start the show?
I just like them as people.
We're just gonna start the.
Let's go.
I love you, Tom York. I just don't like your music. Let's do this. This is PSVR GamesCast Live, where we film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and 2 Wise Friday right here on YouTube. We do it 6 p.m. Eastern for your viewing pleasure. But don't forget, if this is a really long show for you, and maybe you just want to listen to it on a car ride and hear sirens the whole time and think you're getting pulled over nonstop, you can do this on podcast services of your choice. Yes, that includes Spotify. That seems to be the one most people use. Check it out. Thanks to our good friend Jamie for uploading that shit. Also, thanks to our good friend Sci-Fi Gamecat Henry for putting timestamps in this shit. Mine is Brian Paul from this channel right here, PSVR without parole. And this is my microphone that I'm going to be hitting the whole time. And that's AJ over here from the Underground, PSVR Underground.
What is up, man? What is up, Game Cats? Man, it feels like a while since I've talked to you or seen you, man. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Yeah, man, I got tons to talk about. I did some proactive things that I can't wait to mention. And yeah, man, pretty cool stuff going on. How about you?
I slept a lot. It wasn't proactive in the slightest. I have a feeling you're just going to make me feel bad about myself.
I'm like out here doing all this work. And, no, but I've been enjoying, I've been getting caught up on Wes and Miles coverages and stuff. And great job over there. Can't wait to see what what Miles found in Sweden. I didn't get a meatball update though. I didn't get an update as to whether or not he had some Swedish meatballs out there and see if they lived up to the hype like I had asked. But
yeah, if anyone was tuning in tonight because they were curious about Miles' impressions, the things that he got to see in Sweden, his PSVR2 impressions, well, have no fear. We're going to have those for you soon enough. You're not going to have to wait until Friday's show to get those impressions. But just stay tuned on the channel. It'll happen soon. But
you know what's funny, Brian?
What's funny, Brian?
Is that I might end up going to try PSVR2 as well, which is going to make you, the last person that hasn't. But it'll be funny because, or it'll be cool because, hopefully
it'll be funny. It'll be funny, he says.
Miles, Wes, and I combined can provide this coverage. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. That's not a guarantee that I'm going to, but there is a possibility. So we will keep you guys updated, of course.
Yeah, I had a few invites that I've not yet taken advantage of. I have not accepted any of the invites that for people telling me, hey, come check out PSVR2, come check out what we've been working on. I didn't want to leave the country. I thought that was a lot of work, but I do have some offers within the country. The thing is we're so close, man. That's the thing. We're so close.
Yeah,
like if it's not down the street, then I'm like, it's kind of not worth my while to like go cross country or something and go just to go play PSVR2 for a day or two. Like,
yeah,
Miles went to Sweden. God damn, went to Sweden. I absolutely was not going to go to Sweden. Yeah. I would have gone to Sweden 6 months ago. I wouldn't go to Sweden like literally a month before the show starts.
I'm just excited about. I mean, we are. Where's the timer, Brian? We're 36 days, 37 days, something like that. We're getting so close. It's not going to be much longer now. And yeah, I'll be honest with you. If I don't get to test some stuff out early, I have no problem waiting until launch day to just experience it for the first time, all of us together, because we're all going to be streaming and stuff.
One big orgy.
And just hanging out. It's going to be a magical experience. It feels like we've been waiting for this for like 5 years, hasn't it?
Pretty much. Sirens on my end. J Meow in the chat with the $2 tip says, you ranked 89th in the U.S. gaming on Spotify. This is our first time being in the top 100. So guys, if you like PSVR Gamescast Live, but this is a long show to sit through, go check it out on Spotify. We've ranked 89th in gaming. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. We need a couple more cats to go there so we can, drop that by about 20.
We could need to get to the top 10, and people will be like, what the hell is this? People care about PSVR? This is nutso. It's nutso. Thank you, J-Meow. Dude, a lot of shit's been going on. I don't even know where to start today's show. I'll tell you what I did instead of doing anything productive yesterday. I watched a documentary on Netflix. Nope, that's not a thing. I watched a documentary on YouTube, and it was a 7-hour documentary on the history of Castlevania.
Ooh,
yeah, like broken down by games and release schedule. So here, what is it? So the channel is called I Finished a Video Game. It's crazy because a lot of their videos have like 500,000 or close to 1 million views, but I think they have less subscribers than we do. I think they have like 60 or 70,000 subscribers. He only puts out a video. Yeah, oh, exactly. But he's only put out like 15 videos or something total, and they've all been these mega, Dino Crisis retrospective type things. But the Castlevania one specifically only came out a month ago, and dude, I mean, like, it's so good. It's so good, and he kind of like he starts connecting the different games, and it's like seeing it all in one big video is, I don't know. There was something that was really felt good about it, and to me, who I've sort of like kind of cherry picked my Castlevania experiences over the years, and only recently got into the GBA and DS ones. This was an amazing documentary for me, and actually made me. I hate Order of Ecclesia. Which is one of the DS games, and he's going on about how it's one of the best ones, and he's like showing me things that like I didn't know about it, and I'm like, all right, maybe I need to give this game a second chance. So we'll see, man. Very interesting.
Well, this has been Gaming Without Parole Retro Edition.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
We'll see you all next week on PSVR Talk.
Yeah. Ruthless Metal says, you got to be a super nerd to do a 7-hour video on Castlevania. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God.
And you got to be, you might have to be a bigger nerd to watch it. So I think that's me.
I have to tie this all together and say, where is Castlevania VR? Do it. We need it.
Yeah. That works for me. I
would love it.
I could whip some shit in VR. We got Darth Vader, the Gamecat, with a $10 tip, says, we are so close to PSVR2. I cannot wait to get my hands on it. It's going to take the day off once it's in my hands to play it all day. 30 plus games, man. We will be stormed by games. Hype. Oh, I went hype, right. And then the tip appeared in front of me on the screen, almost like magic. Hype. Yeah, man, we're so close. I want to know in the chat how many of you guys are taking the day off or the week off or whatever to just
the week.
Yeah, I unfortunately don't get to take the week off like that. Well, work kicks into overgear. I'm going to I'm gonna be crunching nonstop for about a month. I think that's how that works. Did you watch The Last of Us last night? I did. Ooh, can we get some spoiler-free impressions, AJ?
I will say that I was pretty highly anticipating this, and spoiler-free I would say that I appreciate that for once in my lifetime that a film adaptation actually was faithful to the source material. For a video game adaptation, for a video game based film adaptation, I should say. And yeah, man, I really enjoyed it. And I had Julia with me, and she's never played The Last of Us, and so like I kind of knew a lot of stuff that was going to happen. And yeah, but she still seemed to enjoy it. She still seemed to follow it mostly, and I really enjoyed it. It was really, really good. Good start.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I had heard nothing but good things. A lot of people out there have actually gotten to see the entire season already. Meanwhile, we're going to have to wait week after week after week for each new episode.
Yeah, I noticed that.
However, the first episode's 90 minutes, so it's like watching a movie, and like, all right, I guess I can wait. But the thing that has me most curious is something that Miles told me. Miles told me that there are episodes coming up that are some of the highest rated TV shows ever made. Like so it starts here and then it goes here. Like this is I'm really excited to see what they do with this. And most excited I think is because the whole first episode I pretty much knew beat for beat, right? Very, very, very similar to the game. And with only a few minor changes. But nothing significant. I know that opening hour to Inside Out because I've played it a bunch of times. But beyond that, I don't know the story of The Last of Us all that well. Did I play through it? How many times did I play through this game? I've definitely played it once on PS3 all the way through. When I get the remastered edition on PS4, did I play through all the way again? Or did I just play the first opening couple hours? I think that's more likely. And so I think this will be a good reminder of what the story beats were all about. And I think I'm going to really enjoy this. It felt like I was watching somebody play the game on like a live stream on YouTube.
I've said it before and over again that when The Last of Us was first coming out, that I didn't know much about it. All I knew was that people were freaking out. They were super hyped about it. And I was just like, I don't get it. Like, I don't understand. I saw like a couple screenshots and I'm like, this looks brown and gray and it looks like, it's like nothing I had never seen before. Right. And then I played it and it was absolutely mind blowing. And mind you, I only played this game once. I played it all the way through. Once when it came out on PS3 originally. And I remember so much about it. And I think that just goes to show of like how well it was created, how well it was made, because I've only played it once. And a lot of games, I've played several times or something, I don't remember them really well. I remember so many details about it. And so it was awesome to see a lot of those details and translated onto the show and just being like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Nice. Salvador in the chat with the $5 tip says, that's how I found out my girlfriend was heartless. No emotions during the first emotional part. Well, Salvador, I don't want to tell you this. You just found out that I'm heartless too. I didn't have many emotions. Like I've talked to everybody I've talked to about this said, oh man, I cried during the parts where you expect to cry. And I was like, I knew it was coming. And I was like, here it comes. There it is. Yeah. There it goes. And I was like, no emotions at all because I fully expected it. I said, I was just,
but it got you when you played the game, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because it was the same deal for me. It's like when I played the game, like it got me hard right there. But then watching the show, knowing it was coming, like it was like, sad and stuff, but like it didn't really faze me like it did the first time playing the game.
Yeah. Ruthless Metal says, come on, Brian, we all know you cried. Dude, I cry at everything, right? Like I cry at like tampon commercials and shit, like things that you're probably not supposed to cry at. Like I cried during iCarly. But we've talked about this before. You and I both have the same problem. We cry during shit
that you're not supposed to. I cry at pretty things. Like I cry when things are like beautiful or something. But I'm not necessarily a sad. When I get sad or something, I get angry.
I don't even know where to go with that.
But yeah, it's funny though, because with the show, it's like, there's a lot of times there's movies based on books and people go, I saw the movie and they were like, it's all right. The book was better. And to me, I'm kind of like in the same boat with this is in towards reference to the game. I'm like, yeah, I'm loving this show. It is so, so good. but it's like, but playing it was just like this ultimate experience. And so watching it, I'm enjoying it. I'm like really, really loving it. I'm super happy that they've finally made an adaptation of a video game that is faithful to the source material, because that never happens. I mean, that's been like the death of video game movies since the beginning of time, is that they do not follow the source material. So it was interesting to finally get that experience of like, you know, you may know what's going to happen, you may know the story and stuff, but to see it translated on screen. And yeah, I'm just so happy that like that's finally a thing, because I feel like other than Mortal Kombat, which is like, you know, not necessarily the most compelling story, it's more about the action and characters, that just nothing. I mean, you look at Resident Evil, how many Resident Evil movies there's been, shows, spin-offs. You've never gotten just like the game translated to a movie proper, you know?
Right. I mean, and really almost none of those were even good, right? Like most of them were most
guilty
of them were like,
pleasures at best.
At best. And like my guilty pleasure is Welcome to Raccoon City. Like it's not even like the first Resident Evil movie. Like Welcome to Raccoon City, admittedly a bad movie, but but they just try to throw in so much Resident Evil stuff like that. I'm like, okay, I'm in for this ride. It's ridiculous, but I enjoyed it. But it's a bad movie. We understand that. I will say
Jason Voorhees in the Silent Hill was good. Yeah, Silent Hill was pretty good. The first one.
Oh yeah, the first one was good. Yeah, the second one not so much. Yeah.
But still kind of consider it like a guilty pleasure, even though it was solid.
Yeah.
I still feel kind of dirty for liking it for some reason.
Yeah. What I will say is that I really enjoyed that. I was just kind of fumbling through HBO Max after watching it last night, and they had Troy Baker doing kind of a Talking Dead type thing, where where after every episode they're going to have like their own podcast with Neil Druckmann and some other dude from the show and Troy, and they're going to talk about like kind of behind the scenes stuff and how all the different episodes came together. The only downside is that it's very much a audio podcast with like just like an image changing back and forth. Like you don't get to see, it's not like this where you get to, where I get to see you talking and they see me talking, which is kind of a bummer. Because I don't know, like I feel like for me the days of audio podcasts are gone. Like I'm very seldom walking around just listening to a podcast. What are you doing, bud? Especially when I have to listen to it on HBO Max. Like that seems like a strange place for an audio podcast.
Yeah, I do both. I like to watch stuff, you know, dating back to Podcast Beyond to Kind of Funny and stuff. When they started kind of doing the live video stuff, I tend to like that more, but at the same time, like, yeah, sometimes it's nice to just do other things while you're watching, listening.
For sure.
But I got to say one last thing on this Last of Us, though. It made me think, you know, the way that Sony is kind of approaching this generation, trying to expand their horizons, no pun intended, and they're doing like these film adaptations. They're doing all these like spin-offs, you know, they're trying to like branch out more. They're doing some PC support. They're gearing up, sounds like, to do some mobile games. And of course they have our division, which is VR. And this, watching this show probably made me go more than before. Like I would love a Last of Us spinoff. Like, I don't know if you could recreate, I mean, you could do, The Last of Us just into VR and it could work to some degree. But it actually made me think, like, how well could they do a spin-off for a VR adaptation like a Horizon Call the Mountain? So I'm kind of curious to see how Horizon does and if that is something that actually could work moving forward, taking these big IPs, doing a compelling side story or something like that in that world, because you just want to be in that world.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I was watching Last of Us and I was like, God, I just want to be in there again. I know it's like the worst place you could ever be, but I just want to be there.
Yeah, I'm with you because that's what I wanted The Last of Us 2 to be. I wanted them to just pick, you know, to move the pin and tell us a different story. I had had enough of Joel and Ellie. I was ready for a completely different story with completely new characters in that same world. And if that's what they want to do with a VR game, and because I think the great thing about Joel and Ellie is that their story is probably being talked about, right? They're traveling cross country, and they're without spoiling anything for people who haven't played the game or are going to watch the show. The things that they do, and there are things about them that like seem like they would whisper throughout the country. And so if you were playing as a completely different character, maybe you'd cross paths with them, or maybe you just hear like whispers of things that they had done, like these legendary people, Joel and Ellie. I just feel like you would feel like you were in that world without ever having to play as those characters. There's so much possibilities here. I mean, like it's technically just The Walking Dead, or without actually being about zombies.
God,
right?
Clickers in VR, man. Oh my God, my friend can make that clicker noise. I wish he was here right now. But I challenge you, Neil Druckmann. Are you listening?
He's not
You're
listening.
not listening,
No.
but you should be. I challenge you, sir, to redefine VR cinematic storytelling and gameplay and make a Last of Us spinoff in VR on PSVR2, exclusive to Sony PlayStation 5. That is my challenge.
Nice.
Somebody clip this and send it to him.
I don't know how well it's going to work.
I'm not going to.
We got Dutch DJ with the 11 euros. Says, I took 2 weeks off for PSVR2 just in case it arrives later than release date. Do you think Sony will be able to deliver the pre-orders on release day? This is what I'm nervous about. I am 100% nervous that we have to rely on Sony. I have no idea how long it takes them to ship things, what their release day delivery guarantees are like. Probably very not guaranteed at all. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And so that's why, like, if an Amazon pre-order came up right now, I'd probably order that and then cancel my Sony pre-order, just because I want to make sure I get it on launch day. The only thing I know is that Wes.
Well, it would have been shipped by now. Yeah.
Wes had to recently get a PlayStation 5 from Sony, and he said it took like 2 days to get to him. Like, it was very, very fast. So that gives me a little bit of reassurance. We got Kill.
Yeah, I think it's going to be there day one. I think I got my PS5 on time, so I'm just going to go with that.
All right. We got Killer Tricks with the $5 tip. Says, love you guys. The hype is boiling for PSVR 2. I feel like I watched 100 first impressions at CES. Loved the first episode of The Last of Us, by the way. Thank you.
That's my boy Killer Tricks, dude. What up, man? Good to see you. Ready for that? He's gearing up for that next gen of Firewall, I see.
Hell yeah. Dude, thank you, Killer Tricks. Thank you, everybody hanging out in the chat. Thank you to everybody who supports on Patreon. Thank you to all these people. But, dude, it's Monday. It's Monday, and every Monday we like to thank a whole different group of cats, don't we, AJ?
Yes, 30 minutes in, we would like to thank those who support us in another way by changing their name to something Gamecat related, or something Gamecat adjacent as you, and something Gamecat adjacent like to say. And this week we have one is the loneliest number, blah, 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 blah. New Gamecat, welcome to the Gamecat Dojo. And that is Salute the Gamecat.
Bing. Oh, there he is.
I salute you, the Gamecat.
Just one, huh?
Yep. Usually we have like 4 or 5, but
Yeah.
all
right.
Low key week. Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong with that. But change your name to something Gamecat related, or something Gamecat adjacent if you want to show your allegiance to the channel and support us in other ways other than, financially or other things. It helps. Double salute.
It's just bright. I'm just.
Oh.
Yeah. Thank you, Gamecat, for your service. Yeah, that is, yeah, cool. Yeah, hashtag Gamecat in the comments below if you change your name to Gamecat.
Short and sweet.
Yeah, now people are already talking about changing their names. This is great. Starlight, the Intergalactic Gamecat. What a great name. I feel like we've not given you a shout out for your Gamecat name change. It says €5. Says, I can't wait for PSVR 2. Grinding through Zero Dawn in Forbidden West to get in the mood for Call of the Mountain. Love Zero Dawn for the time being.
Yeah, Zero Dawn was really fun. I played it January of last year, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm really looking forward to Call of the Mountain.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm very much looking forward to Call of the Mountain. I never finished Horizon. I know that's fucking sacrilege around here. I never finished Zero Dawn. Yeah, whatever. There's so. I was talking to Miles earlier about this exact same thing. There's so much media to consume, right? Between movies and TV shows and video games, VR games. Yeah. It's like you can't watch everything. You can't play everything. When games are 40 to 90 hours long, sometimes you just can't play everything, man. It's like, and when your life is video games, when your career is video games, sometimes when you're not working, you don't want to be playing video games. So that kind of limits the other stuff that I'm playing, unfortunately.
Yeah, I've been crazy busy lately, which is why, I haven't been around too much other than this show. Life's just been coming at me hard lately. And, but that did not stop me, Brian, from checking out a few games, including some that are coming to PlayStation VR2 with the new version of them. Actually, this is kind of what I was alluding to earlier. Well, first of all, let me get this out of the way. I watched Top Gun Maverick recently, and I freaking loved it, and it got me in the mood to go play Ace Combat 7 again.
Yeah.
I've been obsessed, man. I watched it at least twice, and then I played the shit out of Ace Combat 7 again. And yeah, I really hope to see more on that. But anyways, then I was like, well, what else can I play here? There's two games. If you have PlayStation Plus Premium, which I previewed or checked out, wanted to check it out. And then there's two games that have a series that's coming to PlayStation VR 2. One of them is Fantavision, which I played for the first time. Have you played that one yet?
The PlayStation 2 game? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you played the original one. I never played it before.
I played it on PlayStation 2.
Yeah, I did not.
Okay.
It's so weird. and it's all right, I don't know, what did you think about it? You think it's going to be good on PSVR 2, or you think it's just going to be meh?
I think it's going to be pretty meh.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I do see a little bit of appeal there, especially if the controls are better with actually if they use eye tracking or something, or get fancy pants with it, it could be cool. And then I also checked out Hello Neighbor, the first one, and it was all right. It wasn't bad or anything, except for some of the jank. It was pretty janky, but it was the first game. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt till I play the new one, Search and Rescue, that it has it's a new game. It's a sequel, and it's got VR2 on it. So it could end up being pretty good. If it's really polished and stuff, it could be pretty good. It wasn't bad actually, but it wasn't my first choice.
Sure. Yeah. We'll see. Was it
just wanted to throw that out there because those are two games that are coming, and I'm sure a lot of people are curious about them, don't know much about them, so
and now here we are, and we still don't know anything about them.
Yep. And I just got to say, thank God we have stuff like Resident Evil Village and Horizon Call of the Mountain and Gran Turismo 7 and No Man's Sky, because woo-wee, that's where it's really at for that next gen experience, most likely.
Yeah. AJ, did you see the new trailer that went up on the PlayStation YouTube channel today?
I did not.
Oh,
actually.
Well, there's a new trailer. It's called Upcoming Games in 2023. It doesn't reveal anything, right? These are games that we have heard of before. But they did there. It's a bunch of flat. I think here's why I'm bringing it up, AJ, because there's a bunch of flat screen games all kind of shoved together into the sizzle reel, but they throw Call of the Mountain and Firewall Ultra into the mix, right there next to flat screen games. And so I was kind of curious as I bring the trailer up, AJ, if you think that this is how they're going to do things from now on. If this is maybe some kind of indication that they're going to, the next time we see a Sony showcase or a state of play, they're just going to mix PSVR 2 stuff in with flat screen PlayStation 5 stuff, or if we're going to have our dedicated PSVR 2 state of play.
I think they're going to continue to mix it in because I think you get, I think they're going to continue to mix it in. It would be nice to have our own dedicated state of play and stuff that's just PSVR2 focused. But I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to try to. I think we're going to see a lot of showcases that are, big flat screen games, and then they're going to pepper in some VR stuff in there. And it's always going to be. But you gotta understand, like, that makes it kind of makes sense from a looking at how big the player base is that's already established versus a growing VR audience. And I think as VR continues to grow, those things will get bigger. And but yeah, I think it's gonna. I see nothing wrong with the mixed showcase.
Yeah, I do. Fuck that shit. I do. I think that Sony needs to go really hard on PSVR 2, so I do think that when they have a showcase, there needs to be PlayStation VR 2 included in it. But I also think that there's no way they can launch this headset without having a dedicated state of play. Leading up to launch, and obviously, I was thinking about it. So I was thinking about it today, and I was wondering. I feel like Sony's going to drop so much shit during a state of play or a PSVR 2 dedicated event that it doesn't matter when they do it, as long as they do it before launch, right? We were like, a year ago, we were like, oh man, they've only got a year. Why aren't they building hype? And then 6 months ago, we've only got 6 months. Why aren't they building up hype? And quickly realizing that none of this would have changed anybody's minds. If you see the reactions on Twitter, the people who aren't going to buy it weren't going to buy it 6 months ago, and they're not going to buy it today. Like there's only a select group of people who are going to buy this no matter what they say, no matter what games are available, no matter how amazing it is, no matter how many exclusives there are. There's still some people who are just not gonna get into it, between flat screen gamers who are just not interested in VR or people who are like, there's a wire and I'm just never gonna fucking play something with a wire ever again. I think Sony kind of knows this. And so here we are, we were waiting for a year for them to drop some kind of special event for PSVR 2. And literally, I think that they could get away with doing it the week before PSVR 2 drops and get just as many sales because pre-orders are live still. You can absolutely pre-order that thing. If you're interested, a week before the thing launches, you can order it then.
Yeah. I'm not going to keep doing this to myself. and hoping for this.
Wait, what do you mean you're not gonna, dude? It launches in 36 days. We only have 36 days to keep doing this to ourselves. We've been doing it to ourselves for 2 years.
Yeah. But I think
this is where I'm cutting it off.
Yeah. First of all, is this the first official confirmation that we have that Firewall Ultra is coming 2023? I don't think it's been officially confirmed until right now.
Yeah, I think this is the first time it's been officially announced.
Like, so. I know we all assume it,
yeah,
but it's a difference between assuming it and then like it actually being said and confirmed, like officially. So,
dude, there were a lot of people who thought it was going to be a launch title, and I was like, no, that's definitely not going to be the case.
No,
but yeah, so knowing it's 2023, that's good because I mean, for me, I'm guessing holiday 2023. This will be a big Christmas title for them.
Yeah. It's gonna be awesome too. It's gonna be so good. Cannot wait. But yeah, man, I'm done worrying about is there gonna be a showcase, is there not? Like I don't need to be any more excited than I already am. I like anything like beyond this is just a plus to me. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I could definitely. I mean, I feel like I say this every single week. I could definitely see something at the beginning of February leading up to, they like to start like months. They either like to end a month on something or start a month on something. I guess they do sometimes do it in between as well. So
they do it at the beginning, the middle, or the end.
Yeah,
this is how they do it.
I don't know.
Got it.
Like,
okay.
I give up. I give up on trying to guess, man, because nobody knows except for Sony.
This is true. So I put out a poll today. I don't know if you saw this. I'm trying to fix this screen desperately because for whatever reason, the other screen I was trying to use has like a lot of noise somewhere, and I can't seem to get rid of it. But
I mean, even when I'm right, Brian, they make me feel like I'm wrong. I mean, I said for months now. Gran Turismo 7, Gran Turismo 7.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I truly believe that. We believe that. We've been saying that since like 2019 on this show. And they made me believe that it wasn't going to happen anymore. Like, which I don't know, man. So it's like, even if I'm right, I don't know. Like, I just don't know anymore, because they've proven that they will do it whenever they want to. They'll wait till last second. They'll do a showcase afterward. Who knows? Like, they'll do anything.
Well, this is kind of the crazy thing, right? Is when I put this poll out today, I said, do you think Sony has any more big PSVR2 games that they'll be revealing before launch? And some of the comments were like, well, if they haven't done it yet, then they're not going to. And I was like, CES was like a week ago, and they finally revealed Beat Saber, right? Which you and I, we'd been saying for like a year, that's something they'd want to do on a Sony stage, right? Because that's going to be something that they would have to make a deal with Meta, and if they're going to have to make a deal with Meta, if there's any money exchange, they're going to want to do it on a Sony stage. And then on top of that, we got Gran Turismo, which was, again, something that you and I said, this is one of those no-brainers, right?
Yeah.
And so, absolutely huge. And then they waited literally till a month and a half before launch to announce it, and then didn't give us any details, which is the craziest part about it, right? So people should be happy about this, but instead of being happy about it, they do have this lingering doubt because of Gran Turismo Sport of people going, is it going to be the full game? Because they need to explicitly say these things now. With PSVR 1, it was too many of these ace combat situations where we got 3 missions, or Gran Turismo where it was just a few modes. They need to explicitly say it before people get excited now. And so they need to say it, and they need to say it in a blog post, or they need to say it in an event, and one of those two things has to be coming soon. Has to be. Yeah.
I'm super excited about it. I think it's going to be the full game, but I don't blame people for, if they're more reserved about it and, approaching with caution here because of, the way things have played out in the past. But
sure.
But I think it is. I'm just afraid to go out and say it because you just don't know. You really, that's the facts, is that they haven't officially said that, it's the full game. All they said was free upgrade. We don't even know if it has orb support. Like, we have to assume so.
Yeah.
But, we're just not getting that confirmation until they are ready to tell us. And what are we going to do?
Yeah, no, exactly. And so, I fully expect Gran Turismo 7 to be the full game. I fully expect Beat Saber to be there at launch, be a free upgrade, and you get all your DLC. They're just stretching this shit out is what they're doing, right? They get to announce both of these big things and then make everybody wonder, make everybody sweat, and then they get to be the heroes again during another event when they say, oh yeah, it's everything that you wanted. And then on top of that, they say, oh, dude. Okay, so AJ, the genesis for all of this, the reason that I put out this poll today was because you and I wanted to have a conversation about, listen, Gran Turismo was a no-brainer. Beat Saber was a no-brainer. We knew these games were going to fucking come. We just had to wait for Sony to say them. So, like, the title of this video is like, what's the next big Sony reveal? So, but what's the next big, in your book, what's the next big no-brainer? Like, when it comes to Sony saying, this game is coming to PSVR 2. What's the next big no-brainer? If Gran Turismo was a no-brainer, if Beat Saber was a no-brainer, what's the next one? Like, it's something that as soon as they do another blog post or as soon as they do a state of play or a PSVR 2 focused event, we're like guaranteed to see. Because that's the answer. That's the question I want to pose tonight.
To me, the next no-brainer has to be Spider-Man. I feel like it.
Really?
I feel like the next no-brainer is Spider-Man.
Wow. That is wow. I gotta say.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That is a bold prediction, Cotton. Like, like legit. Like anytime somebody says Spider-Man VR, all the comments say Vomit Simulator VR, right? It's a dangerous road to go down. It's a road we want them to go down. But so I'm surprised that like you're taking a pretty bold approach at this.
Well, I texted you like 5 different things, and people get on to me about beating around the bush about, AJing the fuck out of things. So I just thought of something and I said, I just picked it and I went, because the truth is I have a lot of things that I would say are a no-brainer, but I had to pick one.
Okay.
And I think Spider-Man just makes a ton of sense.
I mean, Spider-Man makes a ton of sense for the VR veterans. Like, that is the game when we see the PC mods of people swinging around and playing in first person, right? And just, I mean, oh, dude, it doesn't make me sick. It doesn't. I don't look at those videos and go, "Oh my god, I would vomit if I played this." I go, "This is what I've been waiting for 6+ years." Right? We got Windlands, but even Windlands with all the web slinging that you do in that game is still a pretty tame version of Spider-Man, right? Because it's still fairly slow movement.
Yeah, we've had like 2 or 3 Spider-Man games already that were like, just demos, like movie experience things.
Yeah, only that third one. Only the last one was any good.
Yeah. But it was good, and it got great reception, and and they owned, and that was, I think, before they bought Insomniac. I can't remember. I can't remember if it was before or after, but
all right. Well, AJ, while you're thinking of another no-brainer, I want to read Jim Perona's tip. He said, with a $5 tip, he wrote, "Just wanted to thank the entire Without Parole crew for being entertaining and informative AF during this PSVR2 hype period. Appreciate you all."
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, me too.
You want the next no-brainer? Because I'll tell you the first thing that I texted you. You already know. It's got to be...
I pay attention to your tweets about as much as I pay attention when you talk.
I said text, not tweets. I texted you.
Okay. Wait, what did you write?
Look, it's honestly, if there was one thing that maybe would be sooner, I do think Spider-Man's going to happen. I just don't know when. But the next big no-brainer, it's got to be Astrobot. It's got to be Astrobot 2 or Astrobot 1.5 remastered. With the old game remastered with new content. It has to be Astrobot, man. That is an absolute no-brainer.
I feel like you're correct in the sense that there will be an Astrobot title at launch. I feel like maybe
at launch. Oh, wait, is this for a launch? Because I don't know about that.
Okay, well then I'm gonna take what you said and run with it. I think there's going to be an Astrobot title at launch, but I think it's going to be very much a playroom style thing to demonstrate the PSVR2 capabilities, right? Because we had that to launch a PlayStation 5 so that it showcased the DualSense in a way that no other game so far has showcased nearly as well as Astrobot has, right? Every single feature, every single rumble, every single haptic in that thing was demonstrated above and beyond. And I feel like maybe we won't get something quite as big as that, because that felt like almost a full game. It was ridiculous how much content we got in that. But even like a 20 to 30 minute Astrobot experience that kind of showed off some of the PSVR2 features in dramatic ways that we might not see in regular games.
I don't know if I want that, man.
Why?
Because I want a full-fledged sequel. I want Astrobot 2. I want a full game, man. And so I will wait a little bit longer if I have to for it. But to me, like Gran Turismo was, to me, it's like, where is Astro? Like, why haven't we heard about Astrobot at this point in time? To me, it's like one of those things that just doesn't make sense. It's like we should be expecting it and we should have it confirmed already. And it just feels like they're doing the same thing like they did with Gran Turismo, where they're just holding on to it for right now. Maybe it started development late, Again, a lot of what we've predicted in the past has been right. It's just been, these things have gotten started, been a little bit later than we predicted, or they get announced later than we predicted.
Yeah. I absolutely believe that we're going to have an Astrobot Rescue Mission 2 or whatever the hell they're going to call it, a full-fledged Astrobot game for PSVR 2. I absolutely believe that's going to be a thing. But I also think that Astro is one of these seminal mascots now for Sony, where he ushers in new technology. And with the PlayStation 5 and DualSense, and now the PlayStation VR 2, I just feel like he has to be there in some regard or another. Again, I don't think it's going to be a full-fledged game or anything like that, but I do think it's going to be something to kind of put the PSVR2 through its paces and let people know just how cool some of these features can be. Oh, you're just going to sit there.
I want, yeah.
Well, here, at least look at the camera. At least look at the camera.
I want Astrobot Rescue Mission Remastered, Astrobot 2, Astro Kart Racing, Astro Party VR. We need all these things, man. They should be milking Astro like there's no tomorrow.
Nice. Okay, so but that actually brings me into what I think the no-brainer is for Sony. Sony needs to talk about their PSVR 1 games. Where's Blood and Truth? Where's Astrobot Rescue Mission? Where's Everybody's Golf VR? These are important games, and I know I'm missing, for some reason I'm missing like one or two in my head. Fucking Riggs. I have no idea. Right? Wipeout. Yeah, it's like, and I think these are important games, and these are games that would be easily ported to PSVR 2, way cheaper than developing an entirely new game, and there's a whole audience of people, who want to replay these games, who had them on PSVR 1, want to see them on PSVR 2, and 2, they've never owned a VR headset before. There's going to be a whole lot of people who buy a PSVR 2 headset and have never owned a VR headset before, and this is going to be their first chance to play these PlayStation exclusives. I mean, imagine Blood and Truth, but with sense control support, right? I mean, I would absolutely play through that again. Imagine maybe
just for the sake of higher definition graphics and better tracking. Yeah. Just for the sake of that, even if it's still a node teleportation, node to node movement thing, like I'd be mostly okay with that. I mean, is it what I really want? No, but I'd be fine with that. It's such a great game, and I mean, yeah, why leave these things to waste on PSVR that, you know, such a small amount of people. This would really, the remaster thing we've said over and over, remasters are going to solve the problem of no backwards compatibility if they commit to it enough.
Yeah. And there's a reason we haven't heard from about any of these games yet, right? Because Sony hasn't really talked. We thought the CES stage was going to be when they really opened the floodgates and talk about everything. That turned out not to be the case. So again, with only 36 days left to go, we're getting sirens on my end closer and closer to that point where Sony fucking finally starts talking. And when they finally start talking, who said RE7 in the chat? Mitchlet in the chat said RE7 hand tracking edition. That's a game that Sony paid for, right? They paid Capcom $5 million to bring that over to PSVR 1. So that is a game that Sony paid for. Again, that would be something they'd want to announce on their stage. Dude, fucking The Persistence. The Persistence is another game that Sony paid for. Firesprite's now a first-party studio. There's a PlayStation 5 version of that game on the PlayStation Store right now. How could this not be a PlayStation VR 2 game? How are we not getting an upgrade for this? We obviously are. But when are they going to announce these things? And let me ask you this. Is it too much to say, and all of these are going to be there at launch? The launch lineup is fucking insane. Like, I think it's actually too much at this point, right? So do we say like, oh, these games are coming in May, in June, in July, and kind of and start peppering the roadmap for the next year? And so you say, oh, hey, you've been waiting for this game and this remaster and a sequel to this game, and here's Everybody's Golf VR, and then the following month you're going to get Everybody's Golf VR, the upgrade where we added multiplayer to it, and like they start giving us a roadmap of what 2023 and beyond looks like.
Yeah, I mean, this would be the dream to have all of these, already good to go, but yeah, we don't know, man. We just don't know. I feel like they're gonna try to bring something new to the table. It seems like they kind of just hit the reset button in some ways, but I do find it very, very strange that we don't have Astrobot remastered, we don't have Blood and Truth remastered, we don't have Wipeout remastered. These are this seems very, very strange to me. So either their focus is elsewhere, or this is their plan, is to eventually bring these, maybe announce them ready by launch. We still have we technically still have like 7-something games that are not confirmed for launch. So there's room for a couple more, but yeah, I would us who have been, invested in PSVR for years, we absolutely think, we know that it would just be the right thing to have Astro, to have Persistence, to have Blood and Truth all brought back again.
Yeah, agreed. We got some great tips to get caught up on here. We got Starlight, the intergalactic game cat with the €2 says there really are some dedicated VR hate watchers. It's crazy, man. It's always funny whenever I see some people arguing on my Twitter feed. The person who's taking a stance against PSVR2 doesn't even follow me on Twitter. So I'm like, did you just search PSVR2 looking for a fight? So keep that in mind, you guys. So there are people out there just looking for a fight. Don't waste your fucking time with them. I've started blocking people who I'm just like, you're just making my life.
Hey, you did too, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I started blocking them a long time ago. So.
Oh yeah. No, I should have started doing this. I started doing that a long time ago. When I see people with some of their takes, I'm just like, yeah. Just never be satisfied. Like, can never look at the bright side, can never look at what we're actually getting. Always got to spin it in some negative way.
That's right.
Just because it's PSVR. If it was anything else, of course, it'd be great. But this is where we've been from the beginning.
make your life better and just start blocking people. Like people who you just know are always negative, who are just never going to be on board with anything, and just the people who you cringe when you see their names when you go on Twitter or anywhere else, just block them, man. It's like, like you just
you don't gotta listen to that shit,
right? Sure, it's free speech, man. Let them fucking talk. You don't have to listen. That's the best part about free speech. You never have to listen to anybody. All right, our next tip comes to us from Dracula AD 1972, the Vampire Game Cat. These are some great fucking names. This is great. With the 4.5 quid, says shout out to Brian, AJ, Miles, and Wes. Keep up the great work, guys, and thanks for the wonderful content. Thank you.
Thank you, man. So many nice people. See,
right? Well, I mean,
there are nice people out there.
AJ, once you block all the negative people,
you only see the nice ones,
right? And we're like, our community is amazing. And that's because there's like 100 people typing right now. They're like, why aren't my comments coming up? But dude, I mean, like I couldn't ask for a better group of people to be working with, and I'm so happy I'm going into this generation with AJ, who's a fucking hard worker, Miles, who's super enthusiastic, and you're gonna be hearing his thoughts on PSVR2 soon. Wes, who just came back from fucking CES. I mean, like everybody's out there and doing their thing, and I love that we're able to kind of come together here and just talk about all this, because this is great. We've got a great crew to start the new year and to start a whole new generation of VR with. So thank you, AJ. Thank you, Miles. Thank you, Wes.
Hell yeah.
Josh Cat with the $5 tip says, state of play will happen eventually. I just wish Sony would stop saying, we will give further details later. I want to see what's coming to PSVR 2. Please.
They like to say soon. I think that's part of the problem too, is they say, we'll give you more details soon. We'll give you the launch lineup soon.
Yeah.
We'll give you more announcements soon. 3 months later.
Yeah. If you guys only knew.
None of this stuff bothers me anymore. I mean, I know none of this bothers me, because I still end up getting exactly what I want. Yeah. I got Resident Evil Village announced. I got No Man's Sky announced. I got Gran Turismo 7 announced. Like all the things, like, so yeah. I mean, it'd be great to have it done a little bit more flashier and better, but at the end of the day, it's like, no, I'm getting and the headset looks amazing. Like, I'm getting everything I want. So it's kind of hard for me to be mad. Yes, I would like these things to be better, but yeah.
I agree. Again, I think if they had done a state of play that was focused on PSVR 2, instead of drip feeding us all this information, if they had just given us one big event where it was like game after game and banger after banger and AAA after AAA and amazing indie game after amazing indie game, and it was just one after another, we'd have a fucking heart attack, and we'd be like, this was amazing. But it's all about the way they presented it, and some of it's been on a PlayStation blog, and some of it's been tucked away in a state of play, and some of it's been here, and some of it's been there, and some of it we had to ask developers and be like, is this coming? And they're like, yeah, but I don't think we're supposed to say anything. Sony will strangle us. Like it just feels so disorganized and so kind of like pieced together that they absolutely could have done it better. But again, I do think, just like Josh Cat said, that state of play is coming to give us that final boost before launch. How many fucking sirens are we going to have today, Worcester? Really?
Well, I've been seeing a lot of little things that nobody really on the outside looking in is going to care about. But I've been seeing these little tiny moves that Sony's been making that is
tiny
encouraging.
moves, like tiny move controllers with little light balls at the end of them. Tiny moves.
That sounds adorable. No, I've just been seeing they've been acquiring some new people, like the guy from Apple or something that's supposed to be helping with the PlayStation Store and get it better organized. They've got some new VPs that have a long lineage in the gaming industry, and it's just seems like they're making moves. They're trying to get organized. They're trying to get improved. So at some point we're going to see that take hold, and it's going to be a lot better. They were hiring for marketing people. It's good stuff we need.
Nice. We got Mutant Fox with $10 tip. Says Resident Evil 7 is so important it deserves repeating. Resident Evil 4 set the new standard with hand tracking, and the resolution is going to look super rough after seeing Resident Evil 8 on PSVR 2. Yeah, I think Resident Evil 7 is so important it deserves repeating, Mutant Fox. I think you make an excellent point here. Resident Evil 7, as far as I'm concerned, is still the best PSVR game that we ever got. And to be able to play that game again with full hand tracking, I think it would be amazing. And of course, in high resolution, to mimic something that's a lot closer to the PS4 version of that game. It's so scary, right? That again, for all the people, it never came to PC VR or Quest. It was a Sony exclusive in VR that entire time. And so there's a lot of fucking people who never get to play Resident Evil 7 in VR. It is time. That needs to come to PlayStation VR 2. I 100% agree. Just
because it's so awesome, it should happen. But I will say, without a doubt, Resident Evil Village is by far my most anticipated game. I mean, for PSVR 2. It's kind of in a league of its own, just because I think the Resident Evil series is such a good natural fit for VR. And, after getting to play Resident Evil 4 on the Quest, the grabbing the guns from your holsters, manually reloading, grabbing your knife and doing all these little things, it makes the experience super immersive from a gameplay standpoint. And having this integrated into Village and basically knowing nothing about Village is going to make this even better. Obviously a lot of us, we never played Village for this reason, because we believed that it was going to come to VR. I've got it. I've got the physical version. I've got it installed and ready and updated. And I cannot wait, man. Village is the game I'm looking forward to most at launch. There's a lot of them, but that one, just because I know, having played Resident Evil 4 and how good that was, this is going to be incredible.
Yeah. I mean, what's funny is while you were talking, I realized Resident Evil Village was another one of those games that we had said it's a no-brainer, right? Yeah. It's obviously coming to PSVR or PSVR 2. And so we've had a lot of games that we considered, a lot of games that we thought were common sense, that we thought were absolutely coming, and then eventually got announced. And I feel like they took so long to get announced that we forgot that we had sort of predicted it. I'm kind of patting us on the back right now, but while I'm patting us on the back, I mean, also we've made a lot of predictions that have not been true. So we haven't gotten everything right.
No, but but I think we were pretty adamant about Resident Evil Village and Gran Turismo. And like I said, despite it happening, we still had me questioning it. And I feel this way about stuff like Grand Theft Auto in the future and stuff. I just think they're Spider-Man, but I think they're a ways out, which is why some of the other stuff makes more sense.
See, Gran Turismo is one that I was thinking of for today's show. But here, I got a little gun shy on Grand Theft Auto because of Fortnite, right? in my head, I was like, let's think of the three most important games that Sony, three most important third-party games that Sony needs to talk to third-party developers and say, listen, we really want VR to take off this generation. We want it to become much more mainstream. Who are the three developers you need to talk to what are the three games you need? It's simple. Fortnite, Call of Duty, and what was the game with Grand Theft Auto? I was like, what was the topic? Right, Grand Theft Auto. Those are the three games that like you really need to get on PSVR2 in order to. In the second Tim Sweeney got out there and was like, we are absolutely not doing Fortnite in VR because the locomotion is just too intense. That made me go, oh shit. There's only now there's possibly only two titles out there that could help VR go mainstream, and if that's what Tim Sweeney thinks, the CEO of one of the biggest fucking gaming companies in the world, like what are they thinking over there at Rockstar? The one thing that's saving me on that is that Rockstar actually made LA Noire the VR case file, so they have delved into VR a little bit, and they're
developing San Andreas.
And supposedly developing San Andreas for Quest. Right? What happened to that? We saw our logo like 14 years ago.
Yeah.
No. And so you got to figure that like they're interested in VR at least to some degree or another. And you know how killer would it be to have Warzone on PSVR too? These are the games that we need. Like they're not games that I care particularly that much about. Personally, I'll play the crap out of them, don't get me wrong, but it's not make it or break it for VR for me. But I think for the mainstream, these titles are make it or break it for VR. And if we don't get these titles on PlayStation VR 2 sooner rather than later, I think we are going to have to wait a whole nother generation for VR to get closer to being mainstream.
Yeah, and I'm still holding out hope for stuff like, you know, there's so many series out there. I mean, stuff like Battlefield. I would love like the Battlefield series to come to VR. There's a lot of stuff to choose from out there. So we'll just got to be patient. Just got to be patient and see. But I mean, we can't discount like new IPs. I mean, there's plenty of opportunity for some new original IPs. You know, I want to see those as well. Yes, I want to see all my favorite IPs come to VR, but I want to see some new IPs too. And I think new IPs have just as equal of a chance as an existing one to really blow people away if it's that, you know, high tier of quality. If it, I think if there is something that people go, whoa, like look at that. I mean, you saw like stuff. Yeah, I mean, I guess Half-Life is an existing IP, but there's got to be stuff out there that can have such an impact that it really takes over and can you know, have the potential to make VR more mainstream as it is as well.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what's been happening since the PSVR 1 era began, is that there's been a lot of amazing titles that are new IPs, games that people have never heard of before, and those help move the needle ever so slightly, right? But if we keep moving the needle ever so slightly, it's going to take fucking 20 years to get VR to where it needs to be, right? It's games like Minecraft and Skyrim and Resident Evil titles like that are going to push the needle further and faster and get us and most people are gonna be like, most people out there probably like, who the fuck cares if VR ever becomes mainstream? Well, if you want to keep getting games like Horizon Call of the Mountain and Resident Evil Village and big games in VR, then we need it to become mainstream. Otherwise, we're in big trouble, right? Otherwise, no one's going to spend money on a headset that only 2 million people are going to buy. You're not going to spend $20 million making a game that likely only 20,000 people are going to buy. It just doesn't work that way. Let's get caught up on tips. We got Wonder Rob with a $5 tip, says, my dream VR game from Sony that will not happen. The return of Jak and Daxter VR. Love everybody. Thank you very much, Wonder Rob. I will tell you that Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy, is one of my favorite PS2 games. And so I would love Jak and Daxter to return. I don't know how I'd feel about it being in VR. I guess a third-person platformer in VR could be awesome. But I'll just take a good return to Jak and Daxter, VR or not. Looper, the Underground Gamecat with the €2 says, Astro actually has tiny moves.
That is true.
It's very true. Okay, hold on. We got 3 more, I think. Frost the Behemoth Cat with the $10 tip says, do you suppose that some older Oculus/Meta exclusives might make their way over to PSVR2?
Again, there was stuff that was developed by Insomniac that was on Oculus, and when Sony acquired them, they basically said if anything that was pre-existing over there, if Oculus or Meta or whatever gives the thumbs up, then yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a lot of those games. Other than Insomniac. A lot of those games depend on the publishing deal and who has the rights to them, how long the exclusivity lasts for, all that stuff. But again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but I want PlayStation VR2 to be a place where it's going to be, again, a lot of people's first VR headset. It's going to be this really simple way to get into high-end VR, right? Despite the fact that it's going to cost over $1,000 to get a PlayStation 5 and a PSVR 2, it's still cheaper than getting a high-end PC VR and a PC VR headset, or PC with a PC VR headset. And so I think it's going to be, I think it's going to end up being a lot of PSVR 2 gamers. And so it's going to be I want it to be a place, I'd love for it to be a place where all these old games that didn't get enough attention finally get a second chance and get a bigger audience. And we'll just have to see if that happens or not. But it's going to be on a game to game basis, unfortunately. Joey VR with the $5 tip says, Grand Theft Auto Online should be the next reveal if Sony wants money thrown at them. Fucking greed. Dude, that would blow everybody away. That would make headlines on every gaming site if Grand Theft Auto Online was revealed for PSVR 2.
Yeah, I think we're off to a pretty good start, but yeah, they're going to, as time passes, we're going to slowly get more and more bigger announcements, especially once there's been some time for, the headsets to get out there, for headsets to get sold. And, I don't think they want to blow their whole load too early and, invest, drop a whole bunch of huge, just everything they have. And then there not be enough headsets established out there. They got to give time for headsets to get out there in the wild, and then they can drop bigger and bigger announcements as time goes on. But things are looking good so far. I mean, like I said, with what we've seen, things are looking pretty good, and I expect them to only pick up as time goes on.
Kind of a chicken and the egg thing, though, isn't it? Like, if they don't announce big games, then they won't sell tons of headsets, and so they kind of need to put all these big announcements out now and to sell as many headsets as possible for there to be able to be more big announcements.
Yeah, they don't want to wait too long either, because that's kind of what happened with PSVR. Was they finally started announcing these bigger games and stuff, and then it was kind of too late. So yeah, it's but then they also had stuff like Rigs that was they invested so much in early on, and it just didn't do well because just didn't get the player base.
I think that was a hard lesson to learn right there. They had to say, hey, listen, no one knows what Rigs is, right? We spent a lot of money on this, and no one's
going to go out and buy. Not enough people are going to go out and buy a PSVR for Rigs.
Right. Mutant Fox with a $10 tip says, what happened to that Grand Theft Auto 5 rumor, and wasn't San Andreas announced for Q2 and then nothing? I don't know if San Andreas ever had a release window. As far as I know, it was just, I think Zuckerberg just said, and San Andreas is in development, and the logo popped up on the screen, and that was literally all they ever said about it. And then they just went fucking radio silent on that, which was really strange. At this point, it's got to be a Quest 3 title, right? Like, I don't know, maybe they realized big open worlds like that maybe need a little more power behind it. What happened to the Grand Theft Auto 5 rumor? What was the rumor? Was there a specific rumor, or we were all just real desperate for it to happen?
The only rumor, I mean, yes, we're desperate, but I think the only rumor was that there was some studio working on some Rockstar division that worked on LA Noire was working on a VR game.
That's right. I forgot about that.
That's the only thing I remember. But man, I'll tell you this will be my final, this has to be a no-brainer. And it was a game that I mentioned earlier, man. And it's a game I truly believe has to come to PSVR 2, and that is Ace Combat 7. 8. Sorry, Ace Combat 8.
Or all of 7, please.
Because I think Ace Combat 8 is rumored to be coming in 2023. I'm not. Don't quote me on that. But I thought that's what I had heard, or it's believed to be. But man, after what happened with Ace Combat 7, the full campaign. For those who don't know, the full campaign of Ace Combat 7 was originally supposed to be playable on PSVR, on PS4. That never happened. On top of that, we did end up getting 3 missions. On top of that, 3 more missions were supposed to happen and never did. And a lot of this was said because of frame rate issues from the hardware from the PS4, the base PS4, because you couldn't just exclusively develop for the PS4 Pro, which could handle it. But having played through Ace Combat 7 again over the weekend, or probably for the last week or two, man, talk about another big IP that needs to happen. Should be a no-brainer. Shuhei's even out there on Twitter talking to the developer that's giving us like little teases. I don't know if you saw that. Mm-hmm. It has to happen, man. It's so good. It's even with the limited mode, it is so freaking good.
Yeah. All right, fine. Well, if we're throwing out at least one more no-brainer.
That's just my wish list item.
Wish list item that's not a no-brainer.
No, I think it is a no-brainer. I think it's going to happen.
All right. Well, then I'm going to say let's finally do this Killzone thing, right? We know that Killzone VR was in development. It was in development at Supermassive Games. It had been in development for a while. And then in 2019, Sony stepped in. They weren't happy with the progress, and they pulled it. They took the game out of Supermassive hands and said, "We're going to start development over in-house." Now, Killzone's been kind of quiet for a while, right? Guerrilla's obviously spending a lot of time making a VR game right now with Horizon Call of the Mountain, but Guerrilla's also becoming a huge studio. So I would say that if they took Killzone VR back in-house in 2019, obviously they weren't going to make a PSVR 1 game. 2019, 2020, 21, 22, 23. Here we go. Almost 4 years of potential development time for Killzone VR. I would love, love, love them to reboot this series, right? Start fresh, because the original game came out on PS2, right? And then in most of Killzone's heyday was on PS3. Which means a lot of gamers have never played a Killzone game, right? And so I think it's time to start over. And I also think it's time to reuse some of those mechanics from the Vita version, because the Vita game was so good. The Vita game, Killzone Mercenaries, the best Killzone game there ever was.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's so good to the point where like almost all the other Killzone games should be ignored. and that should be the formula for new Killzone games. And so if you take that formula and you put it in VR, man, it would be amazing. This is the way to kind of revitalize a franchise. Just start over. The story was a little convoluted, like just streamline it a little bit. I'm not going to say this is a no-brainer, but I'm going to say that if one series is going to get revitalized for VR, it'll be Twisted Metal. But then the second one would be this, Killzone.
Killzone makes too much sense, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got Herman Hulst, who's the head of PlayStation Studios, and obviously Killzone is a big thing. Did you see Jimmy Bauer's video on Killzone? I thought that was such a great video. Just kind of breaks down the history of Killzone. And yeah, man, I just... With Sony needing more first person shooters and stuff, and I agree, it needs to be a reboot of the series. Like, it needs a fresh start, because just the style of it and everything is so cool. I'm a big fan of Killzone 3. I never played Mercenaries because I never had a Vita because of the stupid memory cards. I refused to buy it because of the memory cards.
The Vita was so good. So good.
Yes, so I've heard. I've also never been a big portable guy, though. I've always been a TV. I like plopping on the couch and playing on the TV. But yeah, I just think Killzone just makes too much sense, especially if you can throw in some mechs and multiplayer and full length campaign, it would be amazing.
Yeah. Tom Flesh Eater Gaming reminds us that Killzone did have move support and made the transition pretty well. Yeah, I mean, I think you and I both played Killzone 3 with the sharpshooter, right? With the navigation controller and the moves. I did the same thing with Resistance 3. Are you going to go get your sharpshooter? Because, I mean, I could go get mine too, but I mean, but props, you know? Props.
I got this bad boy right here. Let's go. The precursor to the aim controller. Oh, yes. This bad boy. Of course, my moves are with the PlayStation. You have the stickers on it still?
Of course I got the stickers on it.
I still use my moves, my same moves from this. I think you do too, right?
Oh, dude, yeah. The moves I'm using are my PlayStation 3 moves.
I mean, using this on a flat screen was kind of difficult. Obviously the aim controller and stuff works so much better in VR, but man, it was cool. And I love stuff like this. I think it adds to the immersion and the fun. And yeah, love this thing, man. Love it. We'll never get rid of this thing.
Listen, I would go get my sharpshooter, but it's in the bedroom because I sleep with it. But instead, I brought another prop in that is absolutely, totally off topic. You ready for this? You ready for some weird shit? Ready for this?
Yeah.
This is 24, the first season of 24 on UMD. PSP UMD. It comes on, check this shit out, 8 UMDs. Who is crazy enough to release the first season of 24 on 8 UMDs? This shouldn't fucking exist, man. This is so weird.
I can honestly say I did not have Brian owning or watching any episode of 24 on my bingo card today.
Yeah. Just saying, 8 UMDs, that's insane. Insane.
Love this, man.
Yeah, me too.
Do we got some questions we gotta get from the cats?
Sure thing, man. Tech Noir, guys. If you are not already members of our Discord, make sure you click the link in the description below and go join our Discord. That's where you can leave viewer takeover questions, just like Tech Noir did. He writes #viewer takeover. I wonder if developers will be allowed to give us the choice of playing games at 90 frames a second or 120 frames a second, being able to switch between 30 FPS fidelity mode or 30 or 60 FPS performance mode is becoming a standard with 2D new gen games. You can even switch it on the fly. It'd be great to have the ability to choose. AJ, what's the biggest problem with this question?
Why do you ask? Why do you say that?
I say that because right now
there's 30 yeah, because you can't do 30 frames per second in VR.
Well, but also as Tech Noir is saying, right now you're kind of able to switch between 30 FPS and 60 FPS on the PlayStation 5 because that's kind of what it's capable of. Now, in VR, you're not exactly getting, for the most part, more performance out of the PlayStation 5 because depending on how you use eye tracking and foveated rendering, you very well could be using more power to get the same effect. So running a game at 120 FPS on PlayStation VR2 is going to be almost impossible. I think you'd have to drop the resolution and in the detail down too much. And so I just don't think that's actually possible right now. Maybe if there's a PlayStation 5 Pro, then we could start talking about that kind of stuff. But I think
don't start that up again.
but I think right now with the current tech, I think that I just don't think this is possible.
Yeah, I'd like to think that most games are going to be 90 frames per second, like just locked at that. But yeah, 60 to 90 for most games.
Let's see.
There'll be some lesser graphically intense games that can go,
sure.
If Res, talk about another game that needs a remaster. If like Res Infinite gets remastered, I'm pretty sure that's going to run at 120 frames per second.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I shouldn't have said that. Games like Horizon Call of the Mountain, absolutely no chance in hell that we're going to have a 120 FPS mode. But yeah, any game that's getting remastered from like the PSVR1 era, like Pistol Whip should absolutely have a 120 FPS mode.
Yeah, it should.
I mean that game.
It'll probably be 90 if not.
Yeah. So yeah, it would definitely depend on the game. Jeppy Condyle. I gotta say, I don't understand half of this question, and I'm sorry. The chat is disappearing from the screen. So after I pose this question to AJ, I'm going to try to fix that real quick. Jeppy Condyle writes, "The Quimster and I have no idea who the Quimster is, AJ. The Quimster and I are curious if you're bummed that you haven't been able to try out the PSVR2 for yourself. Quimster feels bad for you, and I think that you're just stoked that your colleagues get to try it. So, how do you feel? Maybe both? How do you feel, AJ?"
Well, with it being so close around the corner, I don't really care. And yeah, I'm really happy for Wes and Miles getting to try it out. That's awesome. I'm more excited about that because they're getting to give us information on the headset and stuff. But again, I cannot be any more excited for launch day, because especially getting to jump in and choose whatever I want and play whatever I want. And just go crazy with it and see the UI. There's still so many unanswered questions. People are getting to play, like Wes got to play Horizon Call of the Mountain.
Yeah.
But he's having to play it with like snap turning. There's these tracking issues because he's on a ground floor. And look, at the end of the day, you have to experience VR for yourself. You have to put on the headset because it's all about how it feels. And I can't wait to feel it.
Yeah. I mean, again, I will say, if we're being completely honest here, back in September when like Ian Higton and a bunch of other news outlets get to go try PSVR2, go hands on. Like They went to Sony offices and they got to. This was like really the ideal situation to play PSVR2 in, right? They didn't have to play next to 10 other people playing PSVR2 and have Wi-Fi interference. They get to go to a Sony office and literally spend a bunch of time with 5 different games, and that was the ideal way to preview this thing. And now I know that every single person who got invited to that was just way bigger than Without Parole is. Didn't leak as much stuff as Without Parole did. Didn't have reasons for Sony to be as mad at them as they probably are at Without Parole. And so I didn't expect to ever get invited to something like that, but that was the event that I would have liked to get invited to. Wes and I talked about CES, and I absolutely could have gone to CES. I did not want to go to CES, right? Fast Travel invited me to go to Sweden. I did not want to go to Sweden, so we sent Miles, right? I don't feel bad in the slightest. I'm so happy that those guys get to play PSVR 2, and they get to come back here and tell us about their experience. That makes me so happy. At this point, with only 5 weeks left before release, I don't really want to go anywhere to play PSVR 2. I'm pretty sure I could fly somewhere tomorrow and go play it. I'm good though. September was when I would have wanted to do this. Now it's like launch is right around the corner. I don't feel the need to. Yeah. That was a long-winded way of saying, yeah, I'm fucking jealous. Let's see. Gundy writes hashtag viewer takeover. Hello, Brian. I'll just add in hello, AJ. It says, one question. Do you think the launch games are curated by Sony? I mean, did Sony say to some developers, no, not at launch? Just thinking about some easy ports, especially those that are played with just a gamepad. I'm curious because there are no games which are played with the gamepad. The Invisible Hours, anyone?
That's a good question.
Well, I mean, Gran Turismo 7 can be played with a Sense controller, right? A DualSense?
We believe so, yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I've been playing it. So in VR, I'm pretty sure you're gonna be able to play Gran Turismo without a wheel and just play with the DualSense. I don't think it's anything to do with this. Nothing to do with this whatsoever. I would say, I will wholeheartedly say this has everything to do with the developers wanting to take advantage of the new hardware. The PSVR 2 comes boxed with 2 Sense controllers. Those Sense controllers with adapter triggers and everything else and 2 hands in the world. Developers want to make games take advantage of the new hardware. It would feel like a step back, I think, if developers were making games for the DualSense controller. So I think it's not about Sony. So as far as I know, Sony's not curating the launch. Sony is allowing anybody who can get through certification in time for the launch to be there at launch. I think this has everything to do with what developers want to make right now.
Yep. I have nothing else to add to that. I think it's all on the developers and how ready they are.
Okay. Then let's get one or two more questions in here then, AJ, and then we'll move on. Or seek soon in orb it. Hashtag viewer takeover. Is VR not moving as fast as we'd like? I mean, mainstream adoption could be targeted for PSVR3.
It is interesting the kind of approach that they've taken. Sony could have, they had the ability to not use eye tracking, not use haptics in the headset and the controllers, and just make a bare bones VR headset. But I don't think that's what their goal was. I think their goal was specifically to create what they've, something that's like a premium quality VR device that, will have some legs to it. And the price, the price isn't too, they had to have had some kind of option to make a much less expensive headset. And I just don't think that's what they wanted to do. So I can respect that. I can get behind that let's have something that kicks ass. And, eventually once the technology evolves more, becomes more cheaper, then that's the big thing. I think holding back VR from the mainstream, honestly, is just the price. the price, the investment of it.
Yeah.
I think if headsets were $100 or $200, fucking everybody would have one instantly.
I think you're right.
Even if it wasn't proven.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think, and of course, as headsets get cheaper, they're also going to get thinner and lighter and less cumbersome to wear, and that friction will just start disappearing. And so, yeah, I do think that by the time PSVR 3 rolls around, in 7 years or however long it's going to be, I think by that point, we're going to be in a pretty good place when it comes to VR. I'm just happy that Sony's invested in VR because, again, any manufacturer that sells only 6 million units of something would likely consider it a failure. If Sony was a smart company, they could easily take off this whole generation from VR and come back to it when it's, when Quest has pushed it a little bit more, when PC VR has pushed it a little bit more, when the adoption has gotten higher, they could absolutely take a whole generation off and come back to it when it's popular, because it's going to be more popular 10 years from now. But they want to be there at the forefront, and I think this says something about Sony as a company, where they, in the same way where they go very hands off with the studios that they own. They don't micromanage, they don't control them, they don't tell them what to do. They say, make the games you fucking want to make, and we'll just publish them. Like it's a very different approach. And so then they have, people there that are passionate about VR, and they say, well, PSVR 1 didn't sell all that well. Let's make a PSVR 2. Like, let's fucking try it anyway. So it's, they're still a company, and they're a gigantic corporation, really, and they still need to make money. But I do feel like Sony has always given a little bit more leeway to passion projects than most big billion-dollar corporations. It's a good feeling. Tech Noir with the 2 quid says, you defecated on my 120 FPS dreams, Brian. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to defecate on your dreams. Jablibic Blessfadu with the $5 tip says, did you guys watch MRTV's Next Dimension stream? At the end of talking all about modern PC VR at CES, they absolutely gushed over PSVR 2. Worth a look. Never heard of it, but really good to hear.
Yeah, I think the general consensus overall from what I've heard, I mean, maybe I just have selective hearing, which is very possible as well.
Yeah.
But for the majority of from what I've heard and seen is I saw PSVR 2 winning all the Best in Show awards thing, and it's no surprise, man. We've been saying it since years ago.
But we've been saying Best in Show for years.
We've believed in what Sony can offer in the VR space, and in both.
Yeah, but we're delusional.
We are a little bit delusional, but I mean, hey, it's seeming like it's pretty true from right now.
All right.
Anyways,
I'll take it. All right. All right, man. You know what that means? It's time for PSVR 20 questions. I don't remember what the game is, so I got to bring it up now. Are you ready to play some PSVR 20 questions, AJ?
I am.
Nice. That is.
Do you have a game picked?
I do. There it is.
Did you go?
I just brought it up on my screen.
Is it super difficult?
I mean, is that your first question?
No.
Because if that's your first question, I'll start the timer.
No. But I'm just wondering if you happen to forget or not what I did to you last week.
Listen, you know who never forgets, AJ? The Gamecats never forget.
You?
Dude, I forget the moment things are over. Like, yeah.
I was hoping. I was like, man, I was like, my only chance to survive this week is that he totally forgets that I picked something uber hard on him last week.
Yeah, I remembered, and that's all I'll say about that. So maybe I picked something really difficult, or maybe I'm just fucking with your head, and it's really easy. Either way, you only have 20 yes or no questions and only 6 minutes on the clock to figure out what PSVR game I'm thinking of. Guys, everybody in the chat, make sure you help AJ out because this is not easy, I promise you. And this week especially. All right, you ready for this?
Yeah.
On your mark, get Dez. Go.
Let's do this, cats. Did it come out in the first year of PSVR?
No.
Did it come out in the last year of PSVR?
No.
Did it come out within the last year?
No.
Okay. No. Does it have move support?
Yeah. Yep.
It has moves.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a puzzle game?
Yeah, I would say so.
God damn it.
It definitely would be one of the genres you would put it in, yes.
Is it a good game?
Conceptually, yes. I don't know if it would get good reviews across the board, but I think people would say I enjoyed this.
Well, it couldn't be.
That's 5.
D-Magnet, because I don't think people would say D-Magnet is good. And it could be Wander, because most people should say Wander is amazing.
Yeah.
Can you shoot anything in this game?
That's a good question. I don't remember shooting stuff. I'm not going to count that, but I don't think so.
Okay. Is there exploration in this game?
Not really, no.
No.
That's not something you'd probably want to do in this game.
Okay. Not something you'd want to do in this game. Does it support? No. Has this developer made other games?
Let me just double check. This is not to my knowledge. I'm going to look them up right now just to be sure, but I don't believe so.
Is there full locomotion? Good one, Nick.
Yes, there is.
Full loco. So puzzle, moves, full loco. Can't be Paper Beast. Most kind of okay, kind of considered okay. That one's always tricky because.
I just double checked. It looks like this is the only game they ever made.
Are there any? Only game. Okay, so it can't be Winds and Leaves because they've made other games. Is there a strong narrative? Says GC, the Diet Pepsi Cap. What up, homie?
I would say no. That is not the focus here. There may be some narrative thrown in there, but not the focus.
Okay, I need more questions. Couldn't be Winds and Leaves then. Yeah, no. Let's see what we got here. There's full locomotion. Let's see here. Oh, is it sci-fi?
No.
No. Dang. Red Matter was a good guess.
That's 10, by the way.
It's 10. Puzzle game.
I double check the store page just to make sure that's not sci-fi. It's
Oh, well, there's full locomotion. So, do you mess with a lot of gadgets in this?
I would say there's some gadgets.
There's some gadgets. Are you gadgeteering in this game?
No, I would say you're not gadgeteering in this game.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay. Are there any survival elements?
Other than trying not to die, no.
It can't be Tetris Effect because that doesn't support moves. Trying not to die. Oh, does this support the aim controller?
No aim support.
Dang. Rick and Morty's been made. How much time do I have left?
Minute and 20 seconds.
Shit. Twilight Path, they've made other games because they made Form. Rick and Morty, they made other games.
J Meow is wondering about Chromagun. J Meow, it's not Chromagun.
Puzzle game, moves, full locomotion. There's some gadgets to mess with here. This is difficult. Is it in first person?
Yeah, it can be.
Twilight Zone's not on PSVR. Drive Club's a racing game. I Expect You to Die doesn't have full locomotion. Is it based on a popular IP?
No.
Dang, can't be Doctor Who. That was a good one though. Gadgets and You Can Die. Let's see here. Think. This is the only game they've made. Is it horror?
No. AJ, with 15 seconds left, I'm going to tell you something.
What's that?
There's multiplayer.
There's multiplayer. Puzzle multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
Full locomotion.
You're out of time. Give me a guess.
All right, one guess here with multiplayer. Let me think. People are not even naming PSVR games.
Yeah, Dave Curry said Onward.
The Onward.
AJ, coming out.
Okay.
March, April, May 28th, 2018 from Team Future LLC. It's Black Hat Cooperative.
Oh my God.
You're welcome.
Black Hat
One player using the social screen, one player in VR. The person on the social screen, very covert like. Remember Covert? Very much like that, except he uses the social screen. The person on the social screen is telling you where the cameras are and when to run, all that stuff.
I don't know if I ever played that. I was thinking Salaryman Escape.
Salaryman Escape. Oh my God! Talk about nightmare mode.
I don't know if I played Black Hat Cooperative.
Yeah. Well, here you go.
The few.
This is.
Yeah.
Yep. Peter F said that was easy.
Nope.
Yep.
You got me.
That was a fucking tough one, and I do not take credit for that one. We can give all the credit to Orseek, the GameCat.
Oh, good one. I thought you were gonna say Riot Pop.
I'll tell you, man. I had a different one picked out, and I'm gonna save it for next week. I think next week we'll do another nightmare mode. It's not gonna be pretty, that's for sure.
Well, then I'll be the one picking the nightmare.
That's right. God damn it. 2 weeks from now? I gotta wait 2 weeks to make your life miserable?
Yep.
No, I make your life miserable every day. Nice. All right, you guys, listen, this has been a long-ass episode of GamesCast, as they all are, but make sure you subscribe to AJ over at his channel. Click the link in the description below, PSVR Underground. Man, with only 5 weeks until PSVR 2 gets here, we are just going to hit you over the head with so much PlayStation VR 2 coverage, you're not even going to be able to keep up. These are the channels you're going to want to be checking out. Me, AJ, Miles, that Virtual Strangers guy. God damn, did you see their stream yesterday? It was like 14 hours long.
Yeah, I lurked on there a little bit. Yeah, craziness.
Absolutely insane. Officially crazy. Wes is officially crazy. We got Splinter Sloth with the Canadian $5 tip says, I like to see a Battlezone sequel. That game blew me away on PSVR1. The Tron aesthetic and the tank interiors were incredible. Dude, Rebellion's been pretty committed to VR. So it would be nice to see a PSVR2 upgrade for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great game.
Guys, thank you for hanging out. We really appreciate everybody. Have a wonderful Monday night. I forgot how to end the show, man. My brain just fried. But thank you to everybody who supports the channel. Patreon.com/withoutparolegames. Everybody who hung out in the chat. Everybody who tried to help AJ with 20 questions. Of course, everybody who tipped and keeps the lights on over here. We really fucking appreciate you. But also, thank you to everyone who watches and doesn't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there. The numbers don't lie. And we love you just as much. AJ, it's Monday. May I cue the cat?
Cue the cat, right? Because I want to say, see you guys on Wednesday to GC, the Diet Pepsi cat, who's going to have a behemoth year. Cannot wait. Oh, that was another game I played. Not behemoth, but I played Shadow of the Colossus a little bit.
PS4 version?
For that. Yes.
Nice.
I did play the PS4 version.
It's so pretty.
Oh my God, does it look good.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. But I was like trying to gear up for all these games and was like, let me play some of this, get a feel for this, because I'd actually never played Shadow of the Colossus before.
What?
So,
What? Really?
Yep.
Holy shit balls.
So,
we need to do a whole nother show just on Shadow of the Colossus.
I love, absolutely stunning visually. Some good gameplay. I don't like the puzzles, though, of course, as expected. PSVR Zest, our favorite lime in the house tonight. The Fenner PSVR says, we out, baby. Wonder Rob, love you too, man. Yoshi, Gamecat, Rabbit, Pratchety, goodbye to you. Moonmaster Mick, the shape throwing PSVR Gamecat says TTFN, but I can never remember what that means. Toodles for now, ta-ta for now. Maybe I did. Yeah. Shades of Gray Matter in the house tonight. What up, dude? Sci-Fi Gamecat Henry says, peace, love, video games, and cats. Love it. Michael Deserto says, I want Skyrim in PSVR 2. Hey, it could happen.
Ooh, it would look so pretty.
Yep. I think Skyrim could absolutely happen if it was if it was contractually obligated years ago.
Yeah.
Then sure. Master Game Cats are in the house tonight. What up, my dude? Send me some barbecue. It's an inside thing between me and him. Or Seek the Game Cat. I'll get you next time.
You can keep it inside. That's
Stingray X, the Game Cat AF. Good to see you, man. Visor Republic. Cheers to you. Dave Curry. Now I want some Indian food. Gummy cat Tarzan. Now I want some gummy bears. Yep. Or some gummy cats. Bit Jello Boy 30. That jiggly gamer cat. Good to see you, man. It felt good to say that again. Tom Flesh Eater Gaming. What up, man? Guy Sun Fist bump to you. Flame Hat Game Cat. Fire, fire, fire. Twitch of the single player game cat. Your secret is safe with me. I won't tell anybody what you said earlier. And yeah, I will spare thee. Awesome Tatum in the house tonight. What's up, dude? Splinter Sloth, thank you for the donation. Random Toxie, the game Smilodon. I love it. Almost sounds like a game cat name, but it's not. Says, hi, Kathy.
AJ.
Hey.
8 UMDs. 8 UMDs. Season 1 of 24. 8 UMDs. Who put...
Did you watch it?
No.
Did you watch it?
It's actually still sealed. Oh, did I watch it like when it was on TV?
Yeah. Did you ever watch 24?
No.
Because you're like, that's the last thing I'd think you would watch.
Yeah, no. Like, my friends would all watch it. Like they had, they would watch it when it was on TV because this was before streaming services or anything else. And and I would show up when it was over. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd be like, what time's it on? 8? Cool. I'll be there at 9.
I never watched it.
Actively avoided it. Well, I mean, if you want to borrow it, I've got 8 UMDs you could play on your PSP.
Can I borrow your PSP as well?
No.
I have a PlayStation TV. Will it work on a PlayStation TV?
It will not. It's too bad there's no UMD slot on a PS TV.
Yeah.
8 UMDs, AJ. 8. It's on disc. 8. All right. We got to get out of here.
Later, cats.